To seek reality with a discriminating conceptual mind is the greatest of all mistakes. Rest and unrest derive from illusion. In enlightenment, there is no liking or disliking, just realization of your eternal singularity. All dualism comes from ignorant interferences. They are like dreams or flowers in the air. Foolish to try to grasp them, let them go. Gain and loss, right and wrong, such thoughts must finally be abolished at one. There was another sentence in there. The translation very simply is, it has to happen now or it's not going to happen. It is not a future thing that will be abolished. It is right now. If the eye never sleeps, all dreams will naturally cease. The mind makes no discrimination, as the 10,000 things are as one. To understand the mysteries of this one essence is to be released from all entanglement. No compromising, no comparisons or analogies are possible in this causeless, total reality. Consider movement stationary and the stationary in motion. Consider movement stationary and the stationary in motion. That's the most difficult thing to teach, isn't it? Obviously, we are in a form of stationary instantaneous recovery in the totality of the momentary reformation of the totality of form. Consider movement stationary and the stationary in motion, particle and wave. Both movement and rest disappear. As such, dualism ceases to exist. Oneness itself cannot exist either. In this ultimate finale, no law or description applies. With a unified mind in accord with the way, all self-centered striving ceases. Doubts and irresolution vanish and life in true faith is possible. With the single scope, we are free from bondage. Nothing clings to us and we hold to nothing. All is empty, self-clear, self-illuminating, with no exertion of the mind's power at all. Then the power of the universe emerges, to come directly into harmony with this reality. This is the whole workbook. Simply say, when doubts arise, not to. Not true, not so, not to. It cannot be so. In this not to, nothing is separate. It doesn't teach you to attempt to bring them together. The whole Course in Miracles teaches you not to, not objective reality. Do you understand? It is never this. The whole salvation is simply not to. The idea that you can be separate from God is what two is. Since you think you are separate, you think there are two. There would have to be a distance between them. All you must teach is not to. What an amazing idea. In this not to, nothing is separate, nothing is excluded. No matter when or where, enlightenment means entering into this truth. And this truth is beyond extension and diminution in space or time. It is a single thought. It's 10,000 years. This is the whole Course in Miracles. Wow. Infinitely large and infinitely small. No differences for definitions have vanished, and no boundaries are seen. So too with being and non-being. Don't waste time in doubts and arguments that have nothing to do at all with it. It actually says that. I'm not telling you this. That's what this says. Don't waste time in doubts and arguments. Practice not toism. That's from Universal Publications, Virginia Beach. Grateful acknowledgement required for permission. This is the whole lesson of salvation. Do not underestimate the insanity of conceptual mind. It is formed with the full intention to retain the objective reality. Absolutely, that's what it says. At no single moment does the body exist at all. A cancel out has already occurred because of your split mind. I don't think that you are teaching A Course in Miracles here still. If you don't begin with the assumption of the unreality of this, it becomes very difficult to teach. Course groups now are writing letters still maintaining the idea that the course groups have something to do with A Course in Miracles. You can't get out by teaching that. Groups have nothing to do with A Course in Miracles at all. The Course in Miracles is the de-grouping. You're coming to the certainty of your whole mind. Power cannot oppose. This is chapter 27. I'm going to give you just a sentence to see if you can get an idea. Your function is to show your brother sin can have no cause. How futile must it be to see yourself a picture of the proof that what your function is can never be. The Holy Spirit's picture changes not the body into something it is not. It only takes away from it all signs of accusation and blamefulness. Pictured without a purpose, it is seen as neither sick nor well, nor bad nor good. That's what I just read you. No grounds are offered that it may be judged in any way at all. It has no life, but neither is it dead. It stands apart from all experience of love or fear. That's the whole teaching. The simple ways to let this be achieved is merely this: brother, by your hand I live. To let the body have no purpose from the past, when you were sure you knew its purpose was to foster your own identity, guilt. For this, insist your crippled picture is a lasting sign of what it represents. This leaves no space in which a different view, another purpose can be given it. You do not know its purpose. You but gave illusions of a purpose to a thing you made to hide your function from yourself. Brother, there is no death. If you don't begin with the fundamental assertion, you couldn't possibly teach A Course in Miracles. To witness sin and yet forgive, it is a paradox that reason cannot see, for it maintains what has been done to you deserves no pardon, and by giving it, you grant your brother mercy, but retain the proof he is not really innocent. Forgiveness is not real unless it brings a healing to your brother and yourself. Power cannot oppose. There is no opposition to power. Power is God-mind. There's absolutely no opposition to it, and it cannot oppose anything. There is no such thing as reciprocity or exchange. There is one universal power of which you are a whole part. You may utilize it in your own limitation, but if you do, your opposition will be to your own limitation, not to the power of the mind. For opposition would weaken it, and weakened power is totally ridiculous. Yet the whole basis of your present condition is the idea that there are various degrees of power, and that one power will be weakened by the assertion of another power. What an absurd idea. It is simply an attack on God. Weak strength is meaningless. All of your competition is based on weak strength. You have a million different categories where you decide where the participation of the association should be in a definition of the goals that you set up in the limitations of to what? Limit the power of your own creative mind and derive the benefit of the accomplishment of a limited goal based on the previous association. Listen to me. It is not real. I don't care what you do within your own association of cause and effect. Any goal that you set would be absolutely and totally meaningless. Your goal here has only been to retain the existent association of the correspondence of the hitherto determined cause of you, which was over and gone a long time ago. And therefore it must be limited and weak, because that is its purpose. It is designed to what? Protect its own location, to defend itself in its own limitation. If I defend myself, I will be attacked by my defensive posture. That's the whole Course in Miracles. Can you hear me? Is there a question about what it says, human being? I'm telling you that you are a human being in condition of being attacked by your own projections. It is going to say that in this book. I need your fundamental admission of the necessity for you as an apparent objective mind to undergo the experience of a whole mind perfectly creating as God created you. That is where we begin our teaching. That is where they end their teaching. That is where you begin. And therefore it must be limited and weak, because that is its purpose. Power is unopposed to be itself. And I assure you, power is itself. It has no contradiction. The power of your mind, teacher of God, is totally unlimited and contained by nothing. You are the ruler of the universe. Until you accept that, you will believe that some sort of alien power outside of you can set the terms on what the definition of you in the entirety of you is. And you will never be happy doing that. How could you be? It is impossible. No weakness can intrude on it without changing it into something it is not. This is going to say that opposing power cancels. It is going to say that you are setting up conditions of nothingness in relationship with yourself. To weaken is to limit, to define, and impose on opposite that contradicts the concept that it attacks. You're going to be attacked by Course in Miracles teachers who don't agree with your concepts. And they will contradict the concept of their own concept, because that's what their mind does. Their mind is not capable of releasing to a non-conceptual association. Do you hear me? That's what this says. And by this does it join to the idea of something it is not, and make it totally unintelligible. Any association of form becomes unintelligible. The association between chair and that rug is literally unintelligible. There's no way possible that you, as a human being, are going to be able to explain to me your existent association based on a comparison between that chair and that rug. You will set up another form that is exactly as illusory as the forms that you pertain in order to keep your identity. That is the third Patriarch of Zen. Don't do that. That is not what reality is. Can you teach it or not? You would have to believe it, and you would have to have the experience of the non-necessity for your own objective association, because this is a course that says very simply, all of your objectivity is not real. It says it page after page after page. The very least you have to do is to say that this is what it says. You will be ridiculed, attacked. You can be killed. You can be crucified each second. Anything. But unless you teach it, there's no way you can come to know it. How could you? Each moment you're allowing for your own reality based on your own illusory objective associations. Yes or no? Who is doing that? Point to your nose. You. And by this does it join the idea as something that it is not, and make it unintelligible. Who can understand a double concept such as weakened power or hateful love? You can pretend to understand it, and all you will find is degrees in your own non-existent associations. Degrees, aspects, and intervals have nothing to do with at all with what I'm telling you. I am teaching you to awaken from your own objective unreality, that's all. Please do not present me either with the objects that you believe are real, or the manner in which you believe you can come to the truth. None of them are real. I'm talking directly to you. That is called faith in God. You have decided that the guy out there, your mother, your uncle, your cousins, your brother, the phantom figures that you have brought with you to define within the correspondence of both your objections and acceptance are going on equally to create an image that literally does not exist. Your mind is split trying to determine a distinction between your rejection of it and your acceptance of it. Yet any objection or rejection simply cancels out the whole thing. You think it doesn't do that, but it does. It is a cancel out. Ideas leave not their source. If I forget something from my mind that I reject, it hasn't gone anywhere. But obviously, having rejected it is no longer part of my mind, nor is the thought by which I rejected it. I have loved it for a little while and then I rejected it. Yet, I live in my mind with both the memory of loving it and hating it simultaneously. That is impossible. Nothing has happened when you do that. What is psychology? It's called forgiveness. How simple is salvation? All you have to do is release your imagery of it, and it will immediately spring into light because you are not defining it. Any definition will limit. You have decided that your brother, all humans do this, is a symbol for hateful love of weakened power and above all, a living death. Can you believe that? You're going to lock that guy in the electric chair and you feel both sorry for him and justified in not being sorry. And you are caught, you are bound. Now you have to decide whether he should be punished or not. You will never get out of it. What am I telling you? It is not real. Stop trying to get out of it. You can't get out of it through any judgment at all. All of your judgment was literally be nothing, because it is a distance between nothing and nothing. This is A Course in Miracles. Stop trying to locate yourself. All of your locations are dissolving. I'm teaching the workbook of A Course. Have you decided that your brother is a symbol for hateful love, a weakened power, and above all, a living death? He is both alive and death. He is dead because he is going to be dead. He is not dead yet. When a thing dies, you distinguish between what is dead and gone and what is still here. What could you possibly be comparing but dead with dead? You couldn't possibly comparing life because life is eternal. If life is eternal, why do you compare the dead with the dead? Let the dead bury the dead. All of the associations here are nothing but correspondences of an attempt to identify eternity with time. He formulates and cancels out everything. It literally does not exist. Your objective association does not exist. This world does not exist. How do we come to know that? Don't resist your own association with yourself. The only problem you will ever have teaching this is you refuse to press on them that they are the cause of this. All of the letters we get will entirely ignore this. Listen to me. They will ignore that you are the cause of this. They will ignore the teachings of the third Patriarch of Zen, that the objective association is totally illusory and is caused by your subjectivity. When the phone rings and somebody says, "Come and teach," why don't you say, "Well, the salvation of the world depends on you"? They will say, "No, it depends on these phantom figures that I love and hate." The Course in Miracles teaches me to love my brother to death. It is exactly the opposite. It teaches you not to judge your brother, so you can see he is perfect as God created him. I'm getting nods from you, but I'm giving you the facts. I'm telling you that you can make that decision in your mind and the world will disappear. I'm not teaching you from a 3,800-year-old tablet. I'm standing here in your own mind telling you that you are an illusion, a nightmare of your own making. And so he has no meaning to you, for he stands for what is meaningless. You can fight it, and you can do everything you can, but you cannot give meaning where no meaning is. Everything that you value here does nothing but bind you to your own condition of pain and death. Everything. There are no exceptions to that. None. You are either free as God created you, or you are nothing. He represents a double thought. This is real lucid stuff. In a double thought, both have to be cancelled out. Can you see that? Listen to what this says. And so he has no meaning to you, for he stands for what is meaningless. He represents a double thought, where half is cancelled out by the remaining half. If you take God as a whole thing and break off a piece of God, the half that is left is cancelled out by the other half, because you have got two pieces. So when you are separated from God, all you can see is a piece of God broken out, and you can't see the whole God. Who sees that? You may see him as almost whole, but the piece that will be missing will be you. All you can see is where the piece was broken off. Otherwise, you couldn't be separate. Here's the borderland. You keep getting closer and closer to the piece that has been broken out. But as long as you keep it separate, you will be dualistic in your own association. Holy mackerel. You literally can't get here because you are trying to get something that you cancelled out by attempting to determine in your own mind what it is. Who sees this? God keeps pushing on you. I'm not God. You are too. That's what it really says. The you are too part of it authenticates the separation of your own mind. It verifies what? Your own separation. It is nothing. You have cancelled out yourself entirely. Certainly, wholeness doesn't know anything about it. But for the instant that you thought you were separate, you got what? A reflection of your separation. That is what we're repairing here. The reflection was off just a notch. And so he has no meaning to you, for he stands for what is meaningless. He represents a double thought where half is cancelled out by the remaining half. Yet even this is quickly contradicted by the half it cancelled out, and so they both are gone. Obviously, you can't tolerate the impossible position of the judgment of yourself. Quite literally, you are struggling, trying to find equanimity between love and hate, between the reality of what you are and the conflict of yourself. You cancel it out initially by separating yourself entirely from it. This is exactly what you do. But you can't even stand that. You must continue to separate it in an effort to maintain a balance within your own mind in the separation. Once you begin to do that, you will be comparisons with comparisons with comparisons. That is what you as a human mind call mind or thinking. You're dead wrong. You are dead. That's not what thinking is. Conceptual associations in human conditions are not what mind is. What are they? Nothing. Each moment is being cancelled out by something else. What a terrible place. So you live in the illusion and attempt to balance the form of your own association. You maintain that they are real within you. You suffer the consequences of the illusion and you die. What is that? Aren't you finally going to ask what is going on here? Aren't you finally going to begin to question your own aspects? Don't you really want to know why you are so limited in this box of time? You asked for what else was there. There is what else there is. This is what else there is. I'm telling you that what you thought is not real. Totality is all around you. The joy of what you are discovering is very simply that this is not life. This is not what life is. It exists for a moment in whose mind? In yours. Now, what do? You are transforming through the release of the association. What are you experiencing? The joy and love and happiness of universal mind. Yet even this is quickly contradicted by the half it cancels out, and they both are gone. Here's a description of objective reality. And now he stands for nothing. Why? Symbols which but represent ideas that cannot be must stand for empty space and nothingness. He is literally an illusion. You are not even attempting to correspond with his body. You are too fearful to do that. What you are corresponding with is an illusion of your own mind. He does the same. You create illusions of your mind and pretend that is what life is. What nonsense. Yet nothingness and empty space cannot be interference. What can interfere with the awareness of reality is the belief that there is something there. There's not anything there. Are you going to try to teach this to the world? All of these phantom figures, the picture of your brother that you see is totally and absolutely meaningless. There's no such thing as a person. There's no such thing as separate minds living within a containment of the body. That's the first law of chaos, that there actually are separate persons contained within themselves. Why does the separate person maintain that? Because he has separated himself from himself. Having separated himself, all he could possibly be meeting is what? Himself. He is meeting himself. Yet if he is not real within his own mind, who he will meet will also be an illusion. So he shares the illusion of his own identity because he doesn't want, through judgment, the other association. He gives it a reality separate from himself. He pretends that he didn't make it in his own mind and lives in the conflict of his illusions with illusions. I can't read it any plainer than this. I don't know if I can express it any plainer than this. It is not real. Let it go. That is what forgiveness is. Stop making it real and trying to atone it. That's what illusion is. That makes illusion is illusion. The entire association is illusionary because the world I see has nothing to do with reality. It is of my own making and it does not exist. Lesson 14. What are you going to do now? Apply a little third Patriarch of Zen. When that works, it will be working. When it doesn't, it is simply because you re-illusioned. But the solution to continually release because of all of this illusory, it is impossible that you can fail. The whole thing is not real. It is another way of saying the separation did not occur. If the separation did occur, there's no way you could ever get back. You could get back temporarily until some more conflict came up. What a weird idea that you were cast out of heaven by God, that there was a fight. Nobody kicked anybody out of heaven. Nonsense. Anything not in heaven is not real. Anything that kicks anything out of heaven is not real. Did you get that? You're kicking yourself. It is a weird idea that somebody forced you out of heaven. Who is that somebody? The guy that you have rejected outside yourself? Your brother? Who you now must hate and love at the same time? Has rejected you? Do not underestimate the insanity of the human mind. You're in a dream of death, brother, and you are waking up from it. It was actually over a long time ago, and you are discovering it, and you're no longer going to participate in the nightmare of your own mind. The picture of your brother that you see means nothing. Are you ready? You're not going to like this. Don't tell me you can stand up in front of a seminar of physicists and read this. What are you teaching? Personal atonement. I would be surprised if the world didn't begin to catch on, at least fundamentally, that you are teaching that the subject is the cause of the objective association. Individually, you're the cause of this in your own mind. Any aggregation is not true. The picture of your brother that you see means nothing. There's nothing to attack or to deny. This sounds like the third patriarch. There's nothing to love. There's nothing to hate. There's nothing to endow with power or to see as weak. That is what I read in that little pamphlet. And the moment that you saw that, you awakened from the dream and were in heaven. This is over and gone. And now you're discovering that was so. When it becomes so for you, it will always have been so. You're not doing anything that you have not done. You're entirely one mind. It is impossible that you are doing anything that you have not done, since there is only your mind. It would have to be true. What a strange idea that power could oppose and that there could actually be something in the universe. I'm looking right at your mind now. Holy Son of God, Creator in the universe, that would actually stop you from being as God created you. It is crazy. But remember, you are the one that is telling me that you are as God created you. I'm just agreeing with you. You are as God created you. There's only one. There's nothing to attack. There's nothing to deny. There's nothing to love. There's nothing to hate. There's nothing to endow with judgment or power or to see as weak. Why? The picture has been wholly cancelled out because it symbolized a contradiction that cancelled out the thought it represents. It would have to be true. So you are possessed by some thoughts that you don't look at. You bring them up in your own mind when you decide to use them, and you distinguish which thoughts you want to use and which ones you want to reject. This is the body. Holy mackerel. And you think that if you don't look at them at all, that they are not involved in what you are. Therefore, you cannot use them as a potential literally, because you are fearful of the entirety of your own potential. You're actually afraid to let all of your possessive thoughts be part of you. Why? All of your possessions would become whole with you in your mind. You're afraid of your own enlightenment. What an astonishing idea. Wow.